Hey, RezaieStrong followers. So I posed this question about a week ago. How long does it take to form a habit? And I posted this question on both my X account as well as my YouTube channel. And I gave you guys four possibilities: 1 week, 3 weeks, 9 months, and 12 months. And on both polls, people picked 3 weeks. And that's what I hear. I hear 3 weeks all the time. And I just don't know where that came from until I started digging into it. And so it turns out this book that was published in 1960 by this guy, Maxwell Maltz, called Psycho-Cybernetics. And in this book, there's a passage where he talks about how it took patients 21 days to get used to their new appearance after surgery. And that's where that 3 weeks or 21 days comes from. But the original study on this was actually published in 2010, the European Journal of Social Psychology. And this is what they basically did. They had 82 volunteers. They were in the UK and they were students, and they all picked behaviors that they wanted to change. So new habits: eating better, drinking water more often, and exercising more were the three most common. Meditation was there. There was a few others, but these by far and away were the most common habits that people wanted to change. And ultimately, there was four major findings, in my opinion. So finding number one was, if we look at this graph, and across the bottom we see repetition, and across the y-axis we see automaticity. So what is automaticity? That's basically you do a habit enough times that it becomes automatic. It's efficient. You're not really having to think about it. It's unintentional. It's uncontrollable. You're basically able to do it. And so what they ended up finding is that with each repetition, there was a steady increase until you got to a point where you hit a plateau. And so that was basically finding number one, is that it's not like you just keep getting better and better and better at the habit. You got to be consistent with it. And so automaticity increases steadily, but by a smaller amount as we get further along with those repetitions until it reaches that plateau. And that's when it actually becomes a habit. The second finding is that people who chose to drink water more often were more consistent than the ones that chose diet and exercise. And although not a takeaway from the study, a takeaway for me is this is why you see a lot of people talking about things to be successful in achieving habits, focusing on one habit at a time, starting small, taking baby steps, breaking it down to the smallest possible piece so that you're more likely to be successful, because if you start off making it something hard, you are less likely to be successful. Finding number three was that if you missed a day of whatever habit you were trying to change, you decreased your automaticity. If you continued to remain consistent, you increased your automaticity. And so basically being more consistent will likely help you form habits a lot faster. The fourth finding, which is what the original question was and the main finding of the study, is what is the time it takes to form a habit? And the average amount of time was 66 days. And that range was anywhere from 18 to 254 days. So this 3 weeks to form a habit is actually not a thing. The average is 66 days, but the range can be anywhere from 18 to 254 days. So how long does it take to form a habit? On average, 66 days. Let me know your thoughts, comments, and questions. Thank you guys for tuning in and following. And until next time.